There is a particular kind of suffering that has nothing to do with what happened to you. It comes entirely from refusing to accept that it happened. The relationship ended, but you keep replaying it. The opportunity passed, but you keep asking why. The person changed, but you keep waiting for them to go back to who they were. The event is over. The pain continues not because of the event, but because of the grip. Today, we talk about letting go, not as a feel-good idea, as a discipline, as something you practice, as something that, done correctly, changes the entire quality of your life. Part 1. The illusion of control. Most of our suffering comes from a single source, believing we should be able to control things we cannot. Other people's choices, the timing of outcomes, how others perceive us, whether someone loves us back, whether the plan works, whether the world cooperates. We build our peace on the assumption that if we just think hard enough, care hard enough, try hard enough, we can make outcomes bend to our will. And when they don't, when the world moves in a direction we didn't choose and couldn't stop, we experience it as a personal failure. But it was never in your hands. The Stoic philosophers called this the dichotomy of control. Epictetus, a man who was born a slave and had almost nothing that could be called his own, built an entire philosophy around one distinction: what is up to us and what is not. Up to us, our thoughts, our responses, our values, our effort, our attention. Not up to us, everything else, outcomes, other people, timing, circumstance. The moment you stop trying to control what was never yours to control, something releases. Not immediately, not completely, but something real shifts. Part 2. What can't be controlled is a teacher. Here is the reframe that changes everything. Anything you can't control is teaching you how to let go. Not punishing you, not failing you, not proof that life is unfair or that you did something wrong. Teaching you. Every situation that refuses to bend to your will is showing you exactly where your attachment is too tight, where your identity has become fused with an outcome, where you have placed your peace outside of yourself in a result, in a person, in a version of the future that may never arrive. The thing you can't control is holding up a mirror, and what it's showing you is this: your peace cannot live there. It never could. You just didn't know it yet. The loss you can't fix, the relationship you can't repair, the timeline you can't rush, the person you can't change. These aren't cruelties. They are the universe's most direct method of teaching you where you were placing your security, that it was never safe to place it. Part 3. What letting go is not. Before we go further, let's be clear about what letting go is not, because this concept gets misunderstood in ways that make it seem passive, weak, like giving up. Letting go is not pretending something doesn't hurt. It is not saying what happened was okay when it wasn't. It is not stopping caring about people or outcomes. It is not giving up on your goals. It is not becoming cold or detached or emotionally unavailable. Letting go is none of those things. Letting go is the decision to stop spending your energy trying to change what cannot be changed. It is redirecting that energy, all of that intensity, all of that attention back toward what is actually within your reach. It is grieving what was lost fully, honestly, and then choosing not to build a permanent residence in the grief. It is holding things loosely, caring deeply, while simultaneously accepting that the outcome is not entirely yours to determine. That is not weakness. That is one of the hardest and most mature things a human being can do. Part 4. The grip and what it costs you. Let's talk about what holding on actually costs. When you refuse to let go of something, you cannot change a past version of a relationship, a decision you made years ago, the way someone treated you, an opportunity that didn't come through. You don't just carry it, you pay for it every day. You pay in attention. The mental space occupied by the thing you're gripping is space that cannot be used for building, creating, or being present. You pay in energy. Resistance is exhausting. Fighting reality, insisting that things should be different than they are, drains a kind of energy that doesn't replenish easily. You pay in time. Every hour spent replaying what happened is an hour not spent on what's in front of you. And time, unlike almost anything else, cannot be recovered. And perhaps most significantly, you pay in peace. Real, daily, moment-to-moment peace. The kind that makes ordinary life feel livable. The kind that makes a quiet evening feel like enough. The grip doesn't protect you from pain. It extends it, indefinitely, until you decide to open your hand. Part 5. How to actually let go. Letting go is not a single moment. It is a practice. Something you return to over and over until one day you realize the grip has genuinely loosened. Here is what that practice looks like. First, feel it fully. The attempt to let go before you've genuinely felt something doesn't work. It buries the thing deeper. Sit with what you're carrying. Name it honestly. Let it be as heavy as it actually is, without immediately trying to resolve or reframe it. Second, separate what happened from what it means. Most of our suffering is not the event itself. It's the story we attach to it. This happened because I'm not enough. This happened because the world is against me. This means things will never work out. The event is real, the meaning is constructed, and constructed meanings can be examined and changed. Third, ask what this situation is showing you about where your attachment is. Not as a judgment, as information. The things that hurt us most reveal the things we've been holding most tightly. That tightness is worth understanding. Fourth, redirect your attention deliberately. Not to avoid feeling, but because attention is the currency of your life. And chronic attention on what cannot be changed is a form of self-depletion. Redirect it not once, consistently. Every time you notice the grip returning and it will return, redirect again. Fifth, practice acceptance without approval. You can accept that something happened without agreeing that it should have. Acceptance is not endorsement. It is simply the acknowledgement that this is real and that your continued resistance to reality does not change it. Part 6. The Samurai and the Water. There is an old principle in Japanese martial philosophy that translates roughly as flow like water. A river does not fight its banks. It does not resist the shape of the land. It moves through what is available to it, finding paths, changing direction when necessary, never stopping, and eventually reaches the ocean. The samurai who trained in this tradition understood something that took most people a lifetime to learn. Rigidity breaks. Flexibility endures. The warrior who can adapt, release, and redirect is far more dangerous and far more at peace than the one who fights every circumstance on principle. This is not surrender. The river still moves. The warrior still acts. The goal is still pursued. But the energy is not wasted fighting what cannot be moved. It is conserved for what can. Let the uncontrollable pass through you. Feel it, learn from it, and then keep moving. Part 7. What remains when you let go? Here is what people discover on the other side of genuine letting go, and why it is worth the difficulty of getting there. What remains is presence. When you are no longer fighting a past that cannot be changed or a future that cannot be guaranteed, you are here, in this moment, which is incidentally the only place anything real has ever happened or ever will happen. What remains is energy. The energy that was locked in resistance becomes available again, for building, for creating, for connecting with the people in front of you. What remains is clarity. When you stop trying to control outcomes, you see your actual options more clearly. The path forward becomes visible in a way it couldn't be while you were staring backward. And what remains underneath all of it is peace that doesn't depend on circumstances, not happiness that requires things to go a certain way, but a kind of settled, quiet okayness that persists even when the world doesn't cooperate. That peace is what the grip was costing you. That peace is what letting go gives back. Anything you can't control is teaching you how to let go. Not punishing you, not breaking you, teaching you. Where you are gripping too tightly, where your peace is resting on something that was never stable. Where you need to redirect your energy toward what is actually yours to shape. The practice is not easy, and it is not finished in a single decision. It is returned to, again and again. Each time the grip returns, each time the old story resurfaces, each time the world moves in a direction you didn't choose. But every time you choose release over resistance, something in you becomes freer. And slowly, quietly, the suffering that had nothing to do with what happened and everything to do with the grip begins to lift. Open your hand.